Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Snake Draft FPL. How are we all doing? Deadline stream, game week 3. I am very glad to be here and I hope you all are too. Someone let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay, and we will get on with the deadline stuff. I love deadline streams. It makes the whole thing feel a lot more exciting, makes everything seem a little bit more intense. Hopefully, I'm seriously hoping. Oh, good. Thank you, people in the chat, for letting me know. I'm seriously hoping we get a bit of Chelsea news before the deadline, because I have got plenty of their assets across my teams. The main people I'm looking for, Conor Gallagher. I think he's going to start. I'm sure he's going to start, but I've got him in a fair few teams. The main person I'm looking for on Twitter is, now let me remember his handle, it's something like C35 Sam or something like that. I'll find him in a minute. But he knows, he gets the Chelsea lineup all the time. I don't know how early it'll be. Probably about 15 minutes before the deadline is normally about standard, so there'll likely be a mad rush at the last minute. But we shall see. Okay, so get the questions firing in. Don't feel shy. Get your questions in, and I'll do the best. Obviously, depending on how many come through, I may not get to all of them, but I'll just pick them out as and when we go. First one, I see Estupinan, Udogie, Cash, Zinchenko, Gvardiol. Which two to bench? Oh, that's tough. I don't think you can bench Estupinan. I think he has to start. I think Zinchenko has to start. And I would start Gvardiol as well. I think Gvardiol and Zinchenko will both play. There's obviously a chance they don't. But I think they both will. And I suspect Gvardiol, I think, will probably not get subbed on even if he does play. So they're the three I'd play. Cash, a little bit of rotation risk there. Udogie, I think, is a decent option, but I think Bournemouth probably score in that game. So they're the three I would go. Picked up Sarr and Gallagher this week. Yeah, me too. I'm excited. I've got a really bad feeling that Sarr's going to be benched. I don't know why, but I've picked him up. I've kind of pumped him on the channel, and it just makes me think, oh God, I'm nervous about it. Thoughts on Kovacic? Is he too defensive to win points? This is an interesting one. I actually dropped Kovacic this week in one of my leagues, and I think the problem is he's not very good at shooting, which is weird because he's technically brilliant, but he doesn't have a history of goals. And I've just looked through his heat maps and the stats. They just don't fill me with confidence, to be honest. So yeah, I think Kovacic might be a drop. Let me get his data up on Fantasy Football Hub, and we'll have a look again on the stream. Stand by. Player. So let's compare Kovacic with Odegaard. I think that should be Odegaard's obviously a better pick, but that's like the dream, isn't it, for Kovacic? That's who we want him to be. And it just... Okay, let me switch over so you can see. Don't hit the wrong button, Joe. Here we go. So the red in the radar is... the red in the radar is Odegaard. The blue is Kovacic. It's not looking good. When we actually go to the heat maps, the heat map looks good for Kovacic, but City is so high up the pitch that, I don't know, it still doesn't fill me with confidence. And when we look at, shots in the box, 0. That's not good, is it? Shots on target, 0. Touches in the box, 0. So 0 touches in the box. Final third passes is okay. No chances created. Yeah, bin for me. It's a shame because I thought he was going to be an asset. But to be honest, I think it's a bin. Should I start Sarr, Edouard or Antonio? That's tough. I think the safest pick is Edouard. But I think I think I'd take the punt on Sarr. I just think there's going to be loads of goals in that Spurs-Bournemouth game. So that's the one I'd go for. Sarr, Zinchenko, correcting my starter. So you've benched McGinn, Archer, me. Yeah, I'd say that looks good to me. I'd maybe start me over Cash, actually, to be honest. What would you do with Mason Mount? Drop. I'm dropping. Let's have a look at Kovacic. Let's have a look at Mount versus Odegaard, right? And we'll see how that looks. And I suspect it looks pretty similar. Yeah, still bad. Still bad. I mean, the heat map is like all over the pitch, which we'd expect. 1 touch in the box, 1 through ball, 2 chances created, 0 shots in the box. Now he's injured for like 2 months. Nah, he's gone for me. He's gone for me. Favours key passes, Doku or Bailey. I'd still go Bailey. I don't think Doku's going to be consistently starting, to be honest. That's just my inkling. Gusto or Hickey? I think for this week, Gusto. I think Gusto, to be honest. Any news on Everton Press? Something on Dwight McNeil? Do you know, Dwight McNeil's... Let's get the injury table up. Dwight McNeil has been conspicuously absent from all pressers, and I don't know why. Dwight McNeil... Yeah, the last information... Oh, no, August 18th. He's going all right. He's back on the light stuff, not quite on grass. So, yeah, not yet. After the international break would be my inkling from that perspective. Gusto, Chilwell, Gvardiol, Henry and Udogie. Who to bench? Henry and Udogie if you're going 3 at the back, I would say. 4 at the back, I'd play Henry, I think. Maddison or Dan Juma. Did Maddison train today, did he? I'm like a little bit behind because I had a pretty mental day today, so I'm not up to date on anything. I've seen the Ferguson news, which is great. Late fitness test for Maddison. Well, I'd play him. I'd play Maddison because he's not going to get subbed on, is he? He's either going to be fit or he's not. So I'd play Maddison. Doku or Barnes? Barnes for me. Vicario, Gusto or Sanchez VDV? Poor. I'd play Sanchez and Gusto. Double up Chelsea defence. Go for the upside. Trent Colwell, Gusto, Dean Hickey. I need to bench 1. Great content. Thank you very much. I would bench Dean Hickey, I think. With Kudus coming, do you think Byrne will move to striker or benched? I don't think Byrne will be benched. I'm not really sure what they're going to do. David Moyes is a bit of an enigma, to be honest. I think Byrne will start. I suspect him and Kudus will do some kind of jiggery-pokery between the two of them. Starting Ferguson and Jesus, I think absolutely. I think definitely Ferguson. Jesus, if I owned him in any leagues, which unfortunately I don't, I'd start him. To be honest, because okay, maybe he comes on for a 1-pointer, but Fulham are turd. So if you can get 20 minutes out of him, it's probably worth it, in my opinion. Who do you think will have more key passes in complete crosses, Kovacic or Kulusevski? Probably Kulusevski, to be honest. I think. Judging from the data we've just seen. My league's head-to-head format, would you risk starting Madders and taking a 1-pointer? I don't think Madders gets a 1-pointer. I think he starts or he doesn't play. Although I'd like to play Awoniyi as well. But you'll probably get him off the bench. What do you think of Havertz? Good question. I think he's getting more and more confident as the weeks go on. I think he's definitely a hold, and I think the points will come. I'm pretty chill. To be honest, Havertz might be a sneaky buy low trade target. Let's have a look at his data versus Odegaard because they're kind of playing in the same role, aren't they? So Havertz versus Odegaard. Okay, that doesn't look great. What have we got here? Heat map looks fine. 0 big chance. 2 shots in the box. That's not bad in 2 games. That's not horrendous. 7 touches. So he is getting into the box. 7 touches in the box. That's touches in the box, I think. And this might be wrong, but it's just something that I kind of feel. I feel like touches in the box for a midfielder is maybe... this might be an exaggeration, but I feel like that stat, if I could pick one stat that tells me how attacking a player is, touches in the box might be my favourite stat. This is the one I just naturally look at. Shots in the box, touches in the box. And maybe chances created, as well. But touches in the box, I think, is just such a key stat. As always, Fantasy Football Hub with the data, link in the description if you're interested. And make sure you use my link. Don't go to Let's Talk FPL or one of the big boys, Ross. Get on my link. They don't need it. Anyway, current midfielder 12-man: Fernandes, March, Bruno Guimaraes, Gibbs White, Szoboszlai. Thinking of dropping Guimaraes for Ayor Kudus. Thoughts? So now this is an interesting one. I assumed Tonali would play in the deeper of the three and Guimaraes would push on. But I'm not sure that's the case. I think Guimaraes might still be playing the deepest role. And you might think I'm just pumping the Fantasy Football Hub, but this is... I think looking at heat maps and stuff like that is absolutely invaluable because it's hard to pick this stuff out when you're watching the game, especially when you're invested, because you're looking at your players, you're thinking, am I going to get a return? You're checking scores, but looking at like heat maps and stats don't lie. So Tonali had that massive game week 1, didn't he? Which tells me, which might skew this a bit. The heat maps look pretty similar. Touches in the box is close. Final third passes. Bruno Guimaraes is ahead, but he's like an absolute phenom at final third passes. 82 watching, is there really? Good Lord. And we got 7 likes. Come on. Hit that like button, boys and girls. Heat map's looking good. I really can't tell who's playing in the deeper role out of these two. And it might be just that they're alternating, which wouldn't surprise me. Because the heat map kind of looks pretty much the same. I've missed a load of questions and I forgot where I am, so I'm just going to go from the bottom. So if I've missed a question, just fire it back in again. How do you reckon Chelsea will line up the defence today? Also, what website is that? Fantasy Football Hub. Link in the description. So I think it will be Gusto right back, Thiago Silva right centre back, Disasi left centre back, Colwell at left back. I think Chilwell's going to play left mid or left wing ish, and then when they're defending deep, he'll drop into a back 5. So I think all 5 of those will start. By Enzo or Gallagher? Good question. I think Enzo is more safe. Let's have a look at that comparison quick, because I love comparing players from the same teams, because there's not much, like, it gives you more of a feel, I think, for how they're gonna play. The only problem with this is obviously the dynamic changes with Caicedo coming in. So Enzo gets so much of the ball, doesn't he? I mean, look at that. He doesn't strike me as that much more defensive than Gallagher. He's got way more touches in the box. And the data is just good. People that say Enzo's a DM are not paying attention. Literally not paying attention. How are you doing in your leagues? Mixed bag. The Snake Draft League has been horrendous, as you know, Nathan, because you beat me last week. I'm 8th out of 11. Bad start. But I've got a few players that are prone to rotation, which doesn't help. And I'm kind of waiting for Europe to come in to really help that out. But I think I've got a good lineup this week, so that should be okay. The rest of them, I'm doing okay. Let's have a look. I lost in the Pyramid League this week, which was unfortunate, but I had an absolute stinker. So that one's not going particularly well. But then I did lose Kane. I've got loads of waivers this week, so hopefully that one will do well. The 100 League, I'm top. 200 League, third, 2 wins in that one. 300 League, I'm second, 2 wins in that one. Absolute 24-point win this week. That is the dream, isn't it? 24-point win. 24-20. That is the dream. And the Content Creators League, I believe I'm top in that one as well. Yeah. So I'm 2 out of 2 in 4 leagues. 1 league I'm 0 for 2. 1 league I'm 1 for 2. Which is not bad. I'll take that. I have Ferguson, injured Nkunku and injured Jesus on my team. No Jesus is back soon. Do I stick with Nkunku and use a waiver? I don't really like the strikers available. I'd just sit on it. Ferguson's starting this week. Jesus is back. You can hold him. If there's no one that you like free, I'd just hold it, to be honest. Johnson or Flecken this week. Tough one, but I think it's got to be Flecken. Who's at home, actually? It is... Who is at home? Yeah, Brentford. I thought it was. Yeah, Flecken. You've got to go Flecken. Are you still rating teams? I will, but they do take a little bit more time, so I do sometimes skip over them when the chat's going quite quick. 1 defensive spot left. Zinchenko, Saliba, or Kyle Walker. Saliba, I think, just for the security. Back 3 to include Gakpo. Yeah, you got to start Gakpo. I think I'd bench Udogie and probably Henry for that. Start 2, bench 1. Paqueta, and I don't love either of the other 2 picks, to be honest, but probably Lerma. Underage and free agent mids in bigger leagues. Anyone that could be stashed for the next 2? Wow, that's a big question. I'll have a think. I'll come back to that. Maddison start, not sure. I think he might, but I don't know. But you might as well start him because if he gets benched, it's not the end of the world. McAllister, Gallagher, Garnacho, Ayew, Sarabia, free agent. I think Gallagher. But if he doesn't start... quick thing. If we find out, we may find out whether Gallagher starts or not before the deadline, right? If he doesn't start, I think you have to drop him. So, my advice to everyone here that owns Gallagher, which, seeing as I've been tipping him all week, is probably quite a high proportion of you. I would go in your league and find a replacement that you will pick up if Gallagher's benched. So, pick someone that's free and think, okay, that's who I'm going to go to, because it might be 2 minutes before the deadline and you don't want to have to make that decision right on the deadline. So, find someone you like and get ready to make the move just in case we find out he's benched, because we could find out with 2 minutes to go. I unfortunately have not been that prepared and I'm not ready for that. So if we do get that news, you will get to see me scrambling live on stream trying to make changes. Would you hold KDB in an 8-man league? I don't think I would. 8-man? I don't think I would. 12 I would. 10 is borderline. 8 he's gone. Thoughts on Barnes versus Gakpo? I think Gakpo's going to come good. I don't have any concerns of a Gakpo, really. Obviously, it's not ideal, but I don't think he's going to be playing as deep as he is for long. Is Ben Mee expected to start this week? As far as I'm aware, he's back in training. Was there anything today? Ben Mee. Ben will undergo checks on Saturday. Oh, no, that was last week. So he should be fine. If it was a 50-50 last week, you'd think he'd be fine. Did I talk Ferguson yet? No, I did not. Let's talk Ferguson. I love Ferguson. I think he's so good. And we got news from De Zerbi today that Ferguson starts. He said the exact quote. Let me find it before I misquote him. I wouldn't want to do that. Tomorrow, Ferguson plays in the first 11. We have no other team news. Well, that's not really team news. But he literally said tomorrow Ferguson plays in the first 11. So if you have to start him if you own him, because Brighton have got an unbelievable record against West Ham as well. So that's a big deal. And yeah, definite start. And if he's still wavered in about 97% of leagues. So it's unlikely he's free. But if someone has, got bored and dropped him, then pick him up for sure. 100 viewers. Oof. Deadline streams are fun. I love deadline streams. I'm going to try and do as many as I can. The problem is my work schedule is very I work shift work, so I'm quite often working over the deadlines. But when I get a free deadline, I'm going to try and do as many deadline streams as I can this season because they are quite exciting. Love to see the ticking clock making me nervous. Thoughts on Trossard? I think you have to wait with Trossard. I think that's the only way. I think once Europe comes in, he's going to play. Arteta's not shy about changing the team when, he thinks people are getting tired. And Trossard can play on the left, he can play out the top, and he can play in that left number 8 role. So I've got him in the Snake Draft League. It's frustrating, but I'm just going to sit tight and wait. Ben Mee won't be playing this week, but he's playing midweek. Is that confirmed, or is that your thoughts on it? Not sure. That might be confirmed. I like I said, I kind of missed a lot of what was happening today because, I would say because I was really busy, but I was on the golf course, which is the main reason why I missed basically everything today. Oh yeah, Ben Mee. Oh, you're right. So Ben Mee won't play in game week 3, but is targeting a return midweek in the EFL Cup. There we go. That is from the horse's mouth. Have you covered Mount yet? I have a little bit. I think he's a drop. Even in a 12-man league, the stats are bad. The injury's bad. I'm not interested. I've got rid personally. Would you start Jesus over Ake or Hickey? Yes, I would start him over Hickey. Would you start João Pedro Cunha? Probably João Pedro, I think. That's quite tough. We think João Pedro is going to start now, right? Surely. I mean, Enciso looks like he's nearly out for the season, isn't he? So João Pedro becomes a fantastic pick. I don't know if Brighton's been updated on here. No return date. I think he's out for a long time. So need to drop one. Gusto, Colwell, Udogi, Zinchenko, Dean. I think... Oh, that's tough. If you have to drop one, it would be Dean, I think. I think it would be Dean. Mikel Arteta says Jesus is ready to go. Yeah, Mikel Arteta is a bit of a liar as well. That's the only thing. I think he'll be in the squad. I don't think he'll start. I think he'll be on the bench. But, we never know, really. What to do with Mudryk? He's gone for me. He's absolutely gone. Injured this week. Been a pain all season. I mean, we're only 2 weeks in. I'm already sick of him. He's gone. Trafford or Johnston? I think Johnston. Palace defence, right? Now, let's have a quick look at this, right? I was watching FPL Black Box the other day, and they showed a table of team data defence since Hodgson took over. It's like 12 games. Palace have the best defence in that time, which to me seems absolutely wild. The best defence, better than City. They've conceded 12 goals in 12 games. And that just seems wild to me. So first 2 games, XG conceded, City top, Arsenal second, then it's Brentford and Palace. And Brentford have had 2 pretty good fixtures. Palace have played Arsenal and Sheffield United. Palace defence is no joke. It is no joke. Like, when you see Palace on the ticker, I think good fixture for an attacker, but it's really not. Like, you wouldn't say that against City, and they have a better defence since Hodgson took over. I mean, 12 games isn't a massive sample size, and the first bit of it, they were absolutely clinging on for their lives in the league. So, take it with a pinch of salt, but good defence. Good defence. Who would you bench? Maddison, Anthony, Cunha, Gakpo or Jesus? Oh, embarrassment of riches. For me, it's Anthony or Cunha. Anthony has not got it. Well, that's harsh. He's not done it, has he? since that goal, he scored at Arsenal and he scored in the second game. Since then, it's just been it's been quite poor. And have you seen he's got a documentary coming out? What are you doing? Mid-season, when he's putting up stinkers, he's got a documentary coming out. It's a bit weird. What is he thinking? Bringing James Ward-Prowse for Kovacic, trade, not waiver. I would send that trade offer for sure. For sure. I think James Ward-Prowse I don't think he's like the best pick ever, which, after that 2 assists, it seems really good. But I do think he'll be pretty good. And I think Kovacic, not for me. I've got rid, personally. Drop one defender, Estupinan, Chilwell, Gvardiol, Gabriel. Oh my goodness. You can't drop any of those. Do you mean bench? If you're benching one, I'd bench Gabriel. But I wouldn't drop him in. Do you know, actually, they're my defenders in official FPL. And I've benched Gabriel this week. Dean staying in the EPL? I think so. I mean, he might go right near the end of the window, but looks like he's staying for now. Thoughts on Luis Diaz and Sterling? Unbelievable players and picks, and you're lucky to have them. I mean, Sterling not quite as much, but still great. I have Cunha VVD share to replace. What do you think about Pinnock? Great pick, and especially this week, because looking at that Palace defence, yes, it's very good, but their one weakness has been set pieces, and Brentford are the best set piece team in the league. So Pinnock is a real pick this week. Also, maybe Jensen. He takes a lot of them. Not sure about that. Start 2, Akanji, Gallagher, or Ferguson. Or I think I would bench Akanji just because there's a chance he doesn't play. There's a chance he doesn't play, right? So I think that's the sensible one. I want to put on tweet notifications just quickly while I remember. Because I don't want to miss any team news if there is any. Right. Apologies. Gvardiol over Edouard? I think so, yeah. Sorry, not sure if I missed your reply. I probably missed it. What do you think I should do with Mudryk in a 10-man league? Yeah, get rid. Get rid. He's injured this week. He might not start after that. I'm done with him. He's rubbish even when he does start. Keep Jensen. I think I'd keep Jensen for this week. I think he plays good on set pieces. Palace are pretty weak on set pieces, so looks like a good pick for this week. Who do you think starts for City in the back? Good question. This is a good time to... Let me just... Before I'm going to get up... There's a guy on Twitter that does City lineup predictions every week, and he's pretty good. He is pretty good, I must admit. His name is Alex MCFC, but the Alex is with a 4 LEX_MCFC. His City lineup predictions are pretty good. So let me show you these. He has gone for Haaland, Grealish, Alvarez, Foden, Bernardo, Rodri, Lewis, Gvardiol, Ruben Diaz, Walker, Ederson. That's a shock. But he's pretty good with, he gives, what he thinks the odds are of them starting. So, Ruben Diaz, lock. Ederson's a lock. Rodri's a lock. Foden, Alvarez, Haaland. What's his... He often does a little bit of sort of commentary on why. I'm surprised he's put Rico Lewis in there. Where's a Akanji? So it could be Akanji. Rico Lewis. I wonder why he's not picked Akanji, because so Edison, Ruben Diaz, Rodri, Foden, Alvarez and Haaland are the core of the team. Yeah, we get that. There's 3 spots between Akanji, Ake, Gvardiol, Lewis and Walker. Walker's the most likely. Akanji versus Lewis, Gvardiol versus Ake. So he thinks it'll be Gvardiol and Lewis. I think it'll be Gvardiol and Akanji, but who am I to judge? Either way, the defence doesn't generally make substitutions, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just start whoever you have and hope they play. Would you bench Van Dijk to start Romero? Yeah, I would. I would bench any Liverpool defender this week apart from Trent. Start Grealish, Szoboszlai or Semenyo. I think you have to start Grealish because of the fixture. Embarrassment of riches. Thoughts? Fleck and Ramsdale, great. Ake, Thiago Silva, me, Van der Ven, Pau Torres, Eze, Maddison, Anthony, Martinelli, Mbeumo, Gakpo, Jesus, Cunha. What a team. I don't know how big your league is, but it's a great team. Start 2 of Morgan Gibbs-White, Szoboszlai, Jesus. I would bench probably Szoboszlai. I think Morgan Gibbs-White might be in for a good week. We've seen the Luke Shaw's out, and any disruptions at United back line, and they look kind of shaky straight away. I've got a feeling this could be a good week for Morgan Gibbs-White, and I've just thought, I think I'm currently benching him in the snake. Oh no, I'm not. I am starting him. Ignore that. Should I get Archer and take Ferguson out? No. Start Ferguson. He's playing. Ferguson's starting this week, so make sure you start him. Let's go back to this. I have me, but could pick up Pinnock. Probably won't play either this week. Good idea. I'd pick up Pinnock. I think Pinnock is the first choice defender at Brentford. I think he's the best centre back of all of them. So I would take Pinnock over me anyway. Bench 1, Enzo, Gallagher, Sarr or Gakpo. I think the sensible bench is Sarr. I don't normally go for the sensible option. I would probably bench Gallagher, I think. But Sarr is the sensible bench. Should I sub Gibbs-White in for Gakpo, Eduardo and Mbeumo? I do not trust Eduard still. I still do not trust him. He's looked pretty good, but he is consistently done poorly, to be honest. He's never fulfilled his potential in that team. And I would maybe bench him. Brentford are a good team. It's a tough week. Draft Hand have got Madueke starting over Gallagher. Could do. I don't see it, personally. I don't think Madueke starts. If Mudryk couldn't get a start when he was... Mudryk seemed like he was ahead of Madueke in the pecking order because he'd come on before him and he played more in pre-season and he couldn't get a start. I know he's now injured, but he wasn't starting anyway. But we'll see. Madueke could well start. I'm not convinced. Anything? Doesn't look like we've got any news yet. I'm keeping one eye on it for sure. Start which 3? Udogie, Akanji, Powell, Colwill and Henry. Akanji, Colwill and Henry, I think. I'm struggling to decide which 3 forwards to start with these 4. Salah, Isaac, Ferguson and Diaby. That is tough. It's got to be Salah. I think Ferguson... And Diaby, maybe. Oh, Isaac, that Liverpool fixture looks good for Isaac. I think you'd probably bench Diaby, but don't know. Thoughts on Ake? I mean, good player, great points potential when he plays, but he's like a 50-50, probably less than that of Guardiola signing. Who to play? Hickey, Cash, Gordon, Jensen or Antonio? I would play Antonio, I think. I think West Ham will get a goal against Brighton, at least. Brighton's defence is a bit mixed. Start Cunha or Awoniyi? Good question, Ben. I would say, I think that's hard. Why don't you bench one of your defensive midfielders that I know you got? Let me look at your team. Ben. Yeah, I think you start Awoniyi. I think you got it right. Start Szoboszlai of Zaniolo. Szoboszlai. Would you bench boost on Turner, Maddison, Udogie, Saliba? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I wouldn't, but it looks nice if you fancy it. Who would you bench? Jesus, Rice, Martinez, Zinchenko, Gallagher, Bernardo, Enzo, Varane. Rice. Start Webster or Bowen? Bowen, for sure. Easy Bowen. Anderson or Malo Gusto? I think Gusto. Start 2, Wissa, Nketiah or Jesus? Oh, I don't think Nketiah plays. I don't think he plays. I don't think he starts this week. Purely, just off the top of my head. I just have a feeling he doesn't start this week. So I'd start Wissa and Jesus, but you could get stung. But be prepared to be stung. Nketiah is the safe pick, but I've just got a feeling. I have Amdouni. We have Semenyo available in waivers. I like Amdouni. I think he's really good. I think Villa high line suits him. I fancy him. I'm starting him this week. Where do you get the team news? It's all Twitter. It's all Twitter. There are a few sort of, in the know type people that, honestly, if you just follow Let's Talk FPL, he basically will tweet everything that you could want. To be honest, like anytime anyone else gets anything, they'll tweet it, he'll retweet it. So it's much easier doing that. FPL Heisenberg gets a lot as well. FPL Reports is supposedly pretty good. Thoughts on Gakpo going forward? I think you just have to sit tight and hold and wait. Do you think Doku will start? I don't think he will straight away, and even when he does, I don't think it'll be consistent. Zaniolo, the same. Probably more chance than Doku. I'm not interested in Doku. I know this could be famous last words. I mean, he's a hell of a player, but next season, probably. But I'm not willing to take the risk. If I'm top of the waivers and I've got someone terrible, then I'm taking him, obviously. But I'm not busting a gut to get him in. Mitchell, Hickey or Botman? Leaning Hickey. I would agree with that. Hickey, Ayer, Botman, Van Dijk, Anderson. Hickey, Anderson and Ayer, I think. Just hope for the 0-0. Sanchez versus Luton or Steele versus West Ham? I'd go Sanchez. Are we still at over 100 viewers? Yes, we are. 120. Good work, everyone. Hit that like button. Spread the love. Glad to see the live stream. I'm glad you have made it. Glad you have made it. Would you start Caicedo over Gakpo Jackson? No. In short, no. Gakpo Jackson for me. Well, and even. Take the chance that Martinez starts or replace with Vicario. Why would Martinez not start? Have I missed something here? Is something wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Oh, he told us in the first half that he had a small pain. We didn't want to risk him, and we decided to play with Robin Olsen in the second half. Oh, it sounds fine. Yeah, play him. I did miss that, actually. Amdouni or Semenyo if available on waivers. I like Amdouni. The fixtures are not bad either. Villa away is tough on paper, but actually the way they play, I think it suits him. I'm going for him. I like him. Should I get Neto or Danjuma? Oh, that's tough. Neto is just clear, but I think Danjuma's playing up front. He's a sensible pick, so I would advise you to go Danjuma. I'll put it that way. But Neto is more fun. Gibbs White, Virgil or Cash? Gibbs White for me. Start McAllister or Kovacic. They're my two worst midfielders. I feel like City got a better matchup. McAllister could be maybe the pen taker. I don't see it. I know Salah's not great at penalties, and McAllister is great at penalties. He's definitely better, but I just don't see a world where Salah gets penalties taken off him. I think he will decide whether he takes them, and I think he will decide to take them. We know he really cares about his goal record and stuff. I just do not see a world where he doesn't take them. Jesus, Solanke, Morgan Gibbs White, Gabriel start 2. I would start Solanke and Jesus, I think. Although Gabriel looks good for a clean, doesn't he? That is really tough. You must have a good team because that is really tough. I think I would start. I feel like you have to start Jesus after Arteta's comments. I feel like he's a must start this week. Like, if he had never had this injury, you would not consider benching him at home to Fulham. And Arteta said he's fit, so I feel like you have to start him. Sarr, Douglas Luiz or McGinn. Douglas Luiz is the safe pick, but Sarr has got my juices flowing. I'll put it that way. JWP, Gallagher or Barnes? Oh, for this week, I would start Gallagher. Long term, I think JW. I think Barnes, actually, long term. Thoughts on Decore to start? I think he will definitely start, and I think I would start him if I owned him. I think I do own him in one league, actually, and I am starting him. I think it's a good fixture for Decore. Is Maddison going to play? We don't know, but I suspect he'll either start or not play at all. So you should just start him. You are the best. Thank you. I'm not. But I try. If Maddison is out, do you think Perisic can start? Maybe, but I don't think Maddison will affect that, because I think it'll just, if Maddison's out, I think Lo Celso comes in, who could be a really good pick this week if Maddison's out. But I don't think you should risk it with the news that he might be back. It's not worth it, I think. Would you go for this? Pickford, Gakpo, Gibbs White versus Sarr, Isak, Joe Linton. I think the keepers are kind of irrelevant. And Isak versus Gakpo looks like it's not close at the moment, but I think it actually is quite close long term. Gibbs White is an upgrade on Joe Linton. So I think the Gakpo side. Start Trent, Szoboszlai or Shah. I think probably Trent. Love your deadline stream. Thank you very much. If you do love the deadline stream, make sure you hit the like button. Should I get in share for cash? Yes. Start Tonali or Sterling? Sterling. Udogie or Gabriel? I'd start Gabriel. How would you pick 2? Solanke, Gakpo, Barnes. 2 of those. I think I do not like the Spurs defence much, and I think Bournemouth are actually a pretty good attack, so I'd start Solanke, and I'd start Gakpo as well. Barnes is likely going to come off the bench, could do well, but Gakpo's got the minutes, so he's who I'd go for. And if Barnes gets the starting spot in the future, I think he will eventually. It's just a case of, when. Eddie Howe always does this when you sign. Remember, I don't know if any of you remember Botman last season, but I drafted him and was like really excited, and he barely played for like the first month, and I dropped him, and then he started. Luckily I picked him back up again, and then he started for the entire rest of the season. But Eddie Howe often does this with new players, like beds them in slowly, which is probably quite a good. Would you pick up Gross for Brennan Johnson? I don't think I would. Gross didn't play last week, did he? I just don't trust Pascal Gross. Long-term Morgan Gibbs-White or Eze? Eze, probably. They're very similar. Very, very close. But probably Eze. Is Pape Sarr worth picking up? I think so. I mean, he legitimately may not start. And that is a thing. Like, he could not start. But I think after scoring the winning goal against United, surely he stays in the team. But I don't know Postecoglou well enough, really. But he was brilliant, so surely he starts. And he was like ridiculously attacking. So I think he is in the team for me. My midfield: Szoboszlai, Eze, Maddison, Diaby, Luis Diaz. Oof. Who would you say is the weakest? I'm looking for a rotating spot so I can trade one out. Oh, this is a great topic. Right, so this quite often happens to me. I feel like I picked it because I pick midfielders quite early in the draft. I quite often end up with a midfield that looks similar to this. Szoboszlai, Eze, Maddison, Diaby, Luis Diaz, Sachet Banzao has this midfield. This is a midfield that I routinely end up with something like. And it becomes very difficult because you want to start them all every week. They're all great picks. But also there's waivers that come up that you can't get involved with because you don't have anyone to drop. The best way to play this is pick two that are the two probably that are the most overrated at that point, which for me out of those five is probably Maddison and Diaby, and try and combine those into a top midfielder. I would be spamming out offers with this midfield. Maddison and Diaby for Saka, Maddison and Diaby for Odegaard, Maddison and Diaby for basically any of those like top midfielders. Maybe Eze and Szoboszlai for Jota, or Szoboszlai and Eze for Foden, maybe. But like you want to these are all like hypotheticals because some of them don't work. But you want to combine those two of those mids into one top mid and one dud. Then you can bin the dud, and then you've got still a great midfield and an upgrade, but you've got a slot that you can pick up a new player in. That is the key to improving your draft team over the course of the season. Combining value, good waiver pick, combined value. There you go. You think Gabriel is playing? I haven't actually spoke about this yet, but I do think he will. I mean, we looked so much better when Zinchenko came on against Palace. I say we, Arsenal looked so much better when Zinchenko came on. I think he is an absolutely brilliant player and changes how we play. I think if he's fit, which he must be because he played 20 minutes against Palace, I think if he starts, I think Gabriel starts as well, because then we can invert from the left. Gabriel shifts to that left centre-back where he's really good. Saliba goes in the middle. Pardon me. And Ben White goes in that kind of right back, right centre-back hybrid role, which is great, which is what we did for most of last season. So I think Gabriel will start as long as Zinchenko starts, which it looks like he will. Pickford or Trafford with Flecken? Tough one, but Pickford for me. Dunk or Pinnock to start? I think Pinnock. I can't quite remember off the top of my head what the story in my... So every week for the Patreon members, I send out a game week cheat sheet. You know what? I'm going to get it up. So let me see my cheat sheet for this week. Oops. So I send this out every week, the cheat sheet to the Patreon members, and in it we've got some long-term fixture stuff, player data, trade targets, game week odds. So I get these from the bookies, and this kind of is the main. When I have two defenders that are both like not that attacking, and it's all about the clean sheet, this is what I will kind of go to. Zoom in a bit. This is what I will look at as which one to start. I'll go to the clean sheet odds because the bookies don't mess it up very much. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the long run, the bookies get it right. They make a lot of money. So, Brighton 33% chance of a clean sheet, Brentford 31%. So it's pretty close. It's pretty close. In that situation when it's that close, I would probably actually start Pinnock just because I think Pinnock's got decent set piece threat and Palace are a little bit weak from set pieces. Who do you think starts at striker this weekend for Arsenal? Oh man, that is such a tough question. I think it might be Havertz. Actually. Oh, do I? No. I don't know. I really... Normally I've got a pretty good idea of what Arteta's kind of planning, but I just don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't. I think if Jesus was fully fit, I'd say Jesus, but even though Arteta said he's ready to go, I'm always wary about things Arteta says because he fibs. Richarlison or Tonali? Richarlison's awful, but you've got to take that. He's playing up front for Spurs. They're creating loads of chances. They're not falling to him, but surely they will at some point. Start or bench Gibbs White versus United? It depends who you're benching. I'd like to start him if you can. Do you think Barnes will start over Gordon this game week? I don't think it'll be this week. I think Gordon will actually move over to the right and Almiron will drop out at some point, but I don't know if it'll be yet. What about Son? Good pick. Just keep playing him. Oh, I see. To target for your trade. Yes, good target, I think. I'm a little bit worried about how wide he's playing. Little bit worried about that. Like, let's have a little quick look at a comparison, for instance, between... Let me get Fancy Football Hub back open. Let's have just a quick look at a comparison between Son and like someone like Luis Diaz, right? These are two players that you would think should be quite close. And this is the problem with how Postecoglou's setting up with Spurs. The wingers are playing super wide, which is not Son's strength. And so this left half of the radar is like assist potential, basically. And the right half is like goal potential. And so you want both. But if you could pick one, it's goals. And this is the problem. XG way down. Okay, he's created more chances, but that's not what we want from Son. And look how wide he is. We're used to seeing Son playing off Kane in this area, not this area. Shots in the box 3 compared to 6 for Diaz. It's not ideal. Touches in the box, 16 is loads. That's great. And I did say earlier that's my favourite stat. But where are the touches in the box? How central are they? When he's only got 3 shots in the box from 16 touches, even though 16 touches in the box is loads, that might be the most in the league. It's not ideal when he's converting 16 touches to only 3 shots. That's a massive drop-off. Whereas, Luis Diaz has had 8 touches in the box. 6 of those 8 touches are shots. So, that is amazing. Crosses 5. We don't want Son crossing it, really. So he does worry me a little bit, Son. He does worry me a little bit. But maybe things change. I wouldn't be surprised to see Richarlison. I mean, this is like long term. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start through the middle, to be honest. I have a feeling Ake starts. He could well do. But I just don't know. What would you do with Wilson? In terms of Harry Wilson, I've dropped. He had the good fixture. They blew it. He's dropped for me. Their fixtures are pretty bad for a little while, so he can always pick him back up. No one's going to take him. Gibbs White, Paqueta, Gibbs White. Maddison, Ferguson, and Richarlison. I think I'd start Maddison and Ferguson because if Maddison doesn't play, you're going to get Richarlison anyway. But if they both play, I'd rather have Maddison. And we know Ferguson starts for sure, according to De Zerbi. I mean, if he doesn't start now, then De Zerbi needs like a serious talking to. Cunha or Dogi? I'd start Cunha this week, I think. Would you start a Wolves defender? I would if I had one and I didn't have many great options because I do think they've got a medium chance at a clean sheet. What would you do with Callum Wilson? Drop bench? I'd probably just bench him. Although this could be a good week for him, to be honest. But he is annoying. I don't own Callum Wilson in any leagues, and I'm quite happy about it. Would you trade any of Richarlison, Eze, or McAllister for Trossard? No. McAllister, maybe. Yeah. I'd probably trade McAllister for Trossard. I don't like the McAllister pick. I'll be honest. I just think he's too deep. Let's do a comparison between like McAllister and like who do we want McAllister to be realistically? Like a good central midfield pick. I know I always use Odegaard, but I'm not going to use Odegaard. I'm going to use, let's just say Enzo, because this should be really close. But look at that. That's not close. I mean, I know most of that is Enzo's through balls, which are ridiculously high. Touches in the box for McAllister. How many touches in the box has he had? 0. 0 touches in the penalty area. Bin. That is too few. Madueke pickup. I would maybe pick him up last minute if... we got some news. We've got some team news. I think. Do we? Chilwell starts. But that's the most obvious thing ever. Jackson starts. Well, that's the most obvious thing ever. But Chilwell and Jackson start. That is good news. I need Gallagher news. I'm going to actually tweet at Lazy FPL saying, draft players need Gallagher news. Right, everyone go to my Twitter and favourite that tweet that I just sent out to Lazy FPL, who somehow has had a couple of early team sheets. So I've just tweeted him saying, we draft players need Gallagher news. Anyone that follows me on Twitter, anyone that's active, go and hammer that. So well, it's good to know that Jackson and Chilwell start. They both were likely to anyway. But Maatsen to play in the 10, reports say. I do not trust that for a second. We'll see. We will see. I actually saw Maatsen linked with West Ham earlier. Jesus or Havertz? Ooh, both, if you can. I'd just start both. There must be someone you can bench. Joe, do you think Endo starts at number 6? McAllister pushed up a bit? Maybe. The thing is, though, I'm not convinced because it seems like Liverpool's shape is with kind of 2 6s. And I know that when Trent's in, I think the difference is going to be, so at the moment, McAllister's playing at number 6 and Trent's inverting alongside him, which is bad for Trent. And then Szoboszlai and Gakpo are playing ahead. I think there's more chance that Endo and McAllister start together in central midfield, deeper. Then when Trent inverts, he can go beyond those two, which is what he was doing at the end of last season. I think that seems to me more likely. And because people are saying McAllister's playing deeper than he did at Brighton, but McAllister played the 6 almost all last season alongside. He played alongside Caicedo for most of the season. I mean, Gallagher was a terrible pick for that's not Gallagher. Sorry, McAllister was a terrible pick for a long period last season. He got those like 2 pens and that free kick, and then he played in the 6 for ages, and no one did anything. Oh dear. Okay. Semenyo or Adebayo rest of season. Wow. I have no idea. I must admit. I would say probably Semenyo if he keeps his place, but I think Brooks might come back in because Brooks looked really good game week 1. I was surprised he got dropped. Well, not dropped, but rotated. Start Gibbs White over Young, Cash or Pinnock. Yeah, I would. I just don't like benching attackers. I know you have to bench at least one, but I just play as many as I can, really. Levi Colwill starts for Chelsea. I've just seen from FPL reports. Is that... he's normally pretty good. Colwill starts, that's good. What should I do with Gabriel? I would just hold him. I think he starts this week. I think long term he's going to... Zinchenko, Gabriel is the preferred setup, I think, for Arsenal. And I think with everyone fit, they'll play more often than not. Bench 1, Jesus, Bailey, March or Ferguson. Or Bailey, I think. But that is a tough one. But I think I'd bench Bailey. Lo Celso worth a punt? I don't know. I think I would have said yes. And I actually nearly put him in the waiver video because it seemed like Maddison was out. But with Maddison potentially back... like 75% late fitness test, I think it's not worth going for Lo Celso because you are seriously in danger of the 1 point cameo there. Whereas with Maddison, I don't think you are in danger of it because I think if he's fit, he starts, and if he's not fit, he doesn't play. Whereas Lo Celso could well come on in the 70th minute for Maddison if he's fit, which is a shame. Can you recap any other team use you've already had? The only thing I know is that Jackson, Chilwell, and I believe Colwill are starting. They're the 3 that we've got so far. I am seriously... I don't think it's likely that Gallagher doesn't start. I really don't think it's likely. My defence is White, Gvardiol, Dean, Pinnock, Varane. Would you drop someone to pick up Gusto? I would actually maybe drop Dean to pick up Gusto. I don't think Dean is that good. Would you go Turner or Steele? I've not answered that already, and I would go for Steele this week. Bench Gibbs White or Tarkowski? Gibbs White. Play Gibbs White. Bench Tarkowski for me. Start 2. Awanai, Solanke, Bailey, Gordon. Solanke and Awanai. Goal scorers. Bench 1. Gibbs White, Solanke and Awanai. Ooh. I think you probably have to go for one of the Forest boys. Morgan Gibbs White has pens. I don't like benching pen takers really because you never know when you're going to get them. I think I'd probably bench Awanai, but I hate it. But someone's got to be on the bench, right? Potential Gallagher backup. Gordon or Jensen? Yeah, Gordon I think is a great Gallagher backup. Just in case. Bench 1. Matoma, March or Madison. Blah, man. That's horrendous. I think it's got to be March, hasn't it? You'll probably get him if Madison's not fit anyway, but... Who did you end up after waivers? Sarah, Gallagher? A mix of the two, to be honest. I've got both in one league. I've got a couple of Sars, a couple of Gallaghers. I like them both. Do you know what? This might be a good chance for me to just double check my lineups. This is something I like to do pre-deadline, just to make sure I've not made any stupid mistakes. The snake draft. Can I get the snake draft one up on the PC? I guess I can. So, the snake draft league. This does have Kante points as well. So, if you see any kind of strange picks, that's why. But I haven't really gone for any Kante point players anyway. Johnson in goal. Dean, Hickey, Akanji, Enzo, Sarr, Gallagher, Saka, Gibbs White, João Pedro and Amdouni. I'm benching Darwin and Trossard this week, which is tough. Trossard I don't mind because I like the look of this midfield. I'm going to play 5 mids, so he's benched. This has flex positions as well, which is why I only have one keeper and an extra midfielder. Darwin is on the bench for me at the moment just because I don't think he's going to start. I think these two do. Simple as that. That looks good to me, so that is good to go. My FPL team is looking like this. I brought in Jackson and Foden this week. I've had a terrible start to official FPL, but I always do. Haaland captain, obviously. Saka vice. That looks good. Yep. On to the draft team. Pyramid team. Lost last week, was a shame, but I have made a few changes. I'm big on Chelsea, as you can see. Steele over Vicario. Bit of a tough call this week, but Steele gets a nod for me. Defenders, Chilwell, Hickey, Gusto. Konate should go, really, shouldn't he? I should probably drop Konate. But I don't need to. Those defenders all start. I think we can be confident of that. So that's fine. I mean, I suppose there's a slight chance that Hickey doesn't play. They do have another option there. Gusto starts. So that's looking good. Midfield. Gallagher, Diaz, Szoboszlai, Doucouré, Gordon. That is perfectly fine. I will drop Gallagher in this league if we get news he doesn't start. And we've not yet heard anything. Which is, well, how long we got left? 17 minutes. Martial. So I brought in Martial this week in this league. I went for Balogun last week, but he looks like he's going to Monaco anyway. So I'm going for Martial. I've got a sneaky feeling he starts, and even if he doesn't, he's going to get half an hour against a tired Forest. So I fancy it just for a 1 week punt before Højlund comes back. This draft team I was 3rd pick and I took Kane and he is gone, unfortunately. So that's fine. That's good. That's all right. I might pick... no, that's good. I'll leave it. Don't need to worry about a defender, I don't think. 100 league. This league's going well. Ruben Diaz, Varane, Dean. Dean versus Anderson is pretty close, to be honest. I think that's close. But I'm going to leave it as is, I think. Midfield looks strong. Morris on the bench. Yep, that's fine. This team's looking good. Saved. Yep. Then we have the 200 league. Oh, I got like a 50-point draw in this league, actually, in the first week. 92 points. Is it this one? Yeah. Oh, no. 37-point draw in game week 1. That was annoying. I thought I'd won it as well. It was like last-minute bonus change, I think. Pick team. So, Flecken over Vicario. Another tough one, but it's got to be Flecken, I think. Gusto, Colwill, they both start. That's good. Ben White, I think, is going to start. Tarkovsky, just in case. I actually picked up... Oh, yeah. I picked up Declan Rice this week because the logic is basically this. It's just a test, but if Zinchenko starts, that means that Partey either doesn't play, because I don't think he plays right back if Zinchenko starts. I think Ben White plays right back. So that means Partey either doesn't play, or he plays in the 6 and Rice gets pushed up. And Arteta has said quite a lot that he sees Rice as a more attacking player. Fulham at home is such a good fixture that I think, we saw Xhaka do quite well in some fixtures last season. So I've got a feeling that if Rice plays in that more advanced role, I think he could do well. And to be honest, the rest of my team's pretty strong, so I felt like I could just take a punt in this. So I've actually taken a punt on Declan Rice. I wouldn't advise it to other people, but I just want to see how it looks. Edouard, Cunha and Watkins front three. Yeah, that's easy. This team looks good. Eze or Szoboszlai? Eze this week, I think. Newcastle's tough, especially Newcastle away. 300 team, Trafford starts over Leno. That's easy. Ruben Diaz, Varane, Gusto. I want to play Anderson, but Kanate in this one as well. I could drop him, but I'll wait till next week, I think. Fernandes, Havertz, Diaby, McGinn, João Pedro, Gakpo, Cunha. Yeah, I think that's good. I think there's going to be goals in that Burnley-Villa game. Sterling starts. That's kind of just come up in the chat. Let me just double look at that on Twitter. Oh, we've got a full lineup. Let me get this up on... Although this guy's been wrong before. This guy has been wrong before. Definitely. I've seen a wrong lineup from him. The lineup he's posted, I'm not going to put it on the stream because I don't trust it. Sanchez, Gusto, Silva, Disasi, Colwill, Caicedo, Enzo, Gallagher, Sterling, Chilwell, Jackson. Now that is the lineup I've been predicting all week. So I do think that will be right. Because I've not thought Madueke or Maatsen will start all week. I think it will be that. And leaked lineups at leaked_FPL has tweeted that. But he has been wrong before. So I don't trust him. But it's the lineup I think is going to be right. So Sterling starts. That's now confirmed. So Sterling starts. But Joe, can you do your opponent team reviews in 300 etc. leagues? Oh. And yeah, Rice did play as number 8 once in one of the friendlies. Yeah, I think I see it. I will, Jun. I will. I'll have a quick look in a minute. Let's have a look at your team. I'm going to get your team up. This is the 300 league, so this is the biggest. This is the most important league, really. Did I set this line up? Trafford versus Len. Yeah. Defence. Yeah. Yeah. We're good. I kind of want to drop Harry Wilson. I'm just going to have a quick look at the waivers. Is there anything that entices me? Because I don't really want to start McGinn. He's a fine pick, but he's not like... There's nothing. Well, there are picks here, but nothing I want this week. Bruno Guimaraes? Nah. JJ, lol, my 300 team is trash. I'll be the judge of that. Nah, there's nothing here. This is a tough league. This is a really tough league. Let's have a look at JJ's team. Where is he? 7th? What did he have last week? Johnson, Fotheringham, Gabriel, Royale, Shaw, Aina, Cancelo. He's got to be. Has he gone? I'm assuming he's gone. Rashford, Matoma. This isn't trash. Matoma, Soboslai, Neto, Benrahma. You've got some real flair picks in here. I love it. Isaac, Welbeck, and Ketia. It's not that bad. Anyway. And finally, the Content Creators League team. What have we got here? Flecken, Estupinan, Henry, Ake. Ooh. Yep, gone. I didn't realise I had Cancelo last week. Okay, fair enough. JJ Jun in the chat there that you can see. How many teams have you got this year, Jun? It's about 15, I think he does, which is unbelievable. He is the person that runs the Discord server that has all these leagues within them. He normally has about 15, 20 teams, which is... I mean, I have 6, and that feels like a lot. But waiver Enzo out for Sarr. Nah, I think you hold Enzo. I think Enzo's a good pick. Disassi starts. We thought that. I'm still pretty confident of the team that I've been tipping all week, to be honest. 10 minutes to go. Is it dumb to get rid of Wilson for Awaniyi? I don't think it's dumb. I don't think I'd do it. Why do you rate Sarr so much? I wouldn't say I rate him so much. I just think he could be... I think he's worth risking for because he has got the potential to be a really good pick. So, like, whenever I compare a central midfielder to anyone, like the gold standard for me is Odegaard, or Bruno Fernandes. Let's compare. I always do Odegaard. Let's compare him to Bruno Fernandes. Right. Look at this goal threat. I know it's only one game, but it was against United, right? And I know he started one game, but these stats are no joke. 5 shots in the box in one game. Do you know what I mean? Bruno has 3 in 2 games. 5 shots, 7 touches in the box. That's more than Bruno in double the games. 15 final third passes, pretty good. Like, I know he's only created 1 chance, but he seems like a massive goal threat. And Maddison in the other 8 is going to sit on the edge of the box, so they need the other one to bomb in. And I just think he's like, he could just like not play well this week against Bournemouth, be out the team, and we never think about him again, and that's fine. I'll drop him. That's it. He's done. But when you can pick him up for free and he has the potential to be a ridiculously good pick, why would you not gamble on it? So, like, in the chat, would you drop Bruno G for Sarr? I would, because Bruno G's ceiling is like here. His floor is like here. We know who he is. Like, we know the pick he is. Sarr is like anywhere. But he could be up here. He could be like down here, but then you just drop him. But he could be up here. So I just think, like, he is the kind of pick you should be gambling on. He gives me, like, obviously completely different player, different position, but he gives me Matoma vibes from last season. When Matoma first broke in the team, I was like, this guy looks like he could be the pick. So I picked him up everywhere. And I do it all the time. I get fascinated over players all the time, and most of the time they're rubbish. Oh no, I'm not dropping Bruno. That's not the point of this. Like, Bruno is a hold and a great pick. I'm just saying, when you compare the two, like, it doesn't look that much worse. Like, even if we compare him to Odegaard, I know it's only one game, and that's why I'm like cautious. But like, the stats from that one game are absurd. Sarr gives me Gallagher at Palace loan vibes. That is such a good comparison. I could not have put it better myself. No, hold Gibbs White. Hold Gallagher. Yes, I do remember that vividly. That 0-0 against, was it Brentford? I think it might be Brentford. But he had like 8 shots. And you're like, okay, he's a pick. Like, it just takes one game. Like, all I need to see is 5 shots in the box against Man United to be like, he's a pick. I wouldn't risk one of my like proper picks for him. But if you have like a Harry Wilson or someone, it's just like such an easy drop. Or a Gomes, or even like a McAllister or someone, I think just drop. Start Isaac or Jensen? I would start Isaac. I think Isaac's a perfectly good start this week. Liverpool defence is like not great. Any more news? I got a really impassioned there about Sarr. I don't know why. I don't even like Spurs. Still nothing. Yeah, nothing else. My reach out to try and get Gallagher news has failed. They just don't care about the draft, boys. Richarlison on Mount or Sarr? I would go for probably Richarlison. I mean, I know I've just basically sold Sarr for like 5 minutes, but I wouldn't drop a proper pick for him. How many is Jackson bagging today? At least 2. We've got to hope it's 2, at least. I think I've got him in 3 teams. No, 2 teams plus FPL. So we're hoping for Jackson big returns. We are hoping for big returns. Gallagher versus Sarr. I think Gallagher is the safe pick, but Sarr is the fun pick. It's as simple as that, really. Like how... I mean, Gallagher's fixture is so good, and so is next week. If both Enzo and Gallagher's available, I would take Enzo. Start 1, Gallagher, Enzo, Sarr, or Awanai. Oh my goodness. How can you only need to start one of those? What defenders are you playing? Havertz or Sarr? Havertz, for sure. Thoughts on Wissa? Great pick. Shooting like there's no tomorrow. I mean, the fixtures have been kind, and like the game states have been quite kind to him as well, but he does not stop shooting, which is great. Start Solanke or Bowen. I'd say... I don't know. That's a 50-50. That's like, who do you like more? I think probably I would start Bowen, but that's tough. Start Edouard over Henry. I think so. I don't like... In that situation, I don't love backing the defenders because I just find it more like nerve-wracking, hoping for a clean sheet as opposed to waiting for a goal. So I generally go for the attacker if I can't decide. Gallagher versus Sarr. I mean, you know, let's get the data up, and you can decide for yourself. But for me, the data says Sarr by miles. Like, the data is Sarr by miles. What we got? 2 minutes till the deadline. Oh my goodness. 2 minutes till the deadline. There's got to be... No, nothing. I mean, look at this data. It's ridiculously in Sarr's favour. But, like, he might not start. And he might have just had one good week. Gallagher's a turnover machine. He's not playing for Palace anymore. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think he's a decent player, and I think the fixtures are amazing. If Gallagher had crap fixtures, I wouldn't touch him. But the fixtures are so good. Luton at home, Forest at home, back to back. Then it's like, I think it's one of the promoted teams away. The fixtures are too good to ignore for me. That's the reason why I'm going mad over Gallagher and Enzo and all these. Bernardo Silva or Solanke? Solanke for me. Which Burnley forward do you like the most? Personally, Amdouni's the one for me. Thoughts on Morris? Good pick. Like, just a solid promoted forward. Should I play Jesus over Cunha? I would. Yes. Right, 1 minute to go. Any last minute dilemmas you need to get in like right now? Gallagher over Enzo? No. Enzo. For me. Morgan Gibbs White or Gakpo? Oh, that's tough. Tough. Gakpo though, I think. Jesus or Gakpo? I'd start Jesus personally, I think. Thoughts on Rice? Could be a good pick if he starts in the number 8, but it is a bit of a risk because he could just be a DM. Soberslai over Caicedo. Leaked lineup on leaked FPL. Yeah, I saw that. I don't trust him because he's been wrong before. I think that is the right lineup because that's the one I think has been right all week. But I don't trust him. Should I start Amdouni and Solanke over Sarr? Yeah, probably. I'd probably start Sarr over Amdouni, actually, I think. Maybe. Flecken or Steele? I think Flecken. I think. No, Steele. Sorry, that's a complete 180. Kulu or Sarr? Probably Kulu. Udogi or Henry / Hickey? I'd go for the Brentford defender. Trossard or Wilson? If it's Harry Wilson, then Trossard. If it's Callum Wilson, then I'd start Callum. Gallagher starts. Hope so. Are we locked in? Is it done? Deadline passed. Oh, I've not done that very well, have I? That doesn't fit. There we go. Oh, deadline passed. Well, there we have it then. Thank you all for joining me. It's been a fantastic stream. I really enjoy these deadline streams. Really, really enjoy them. So, let me just go back to this. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out before you go. And I'm going to try and do these more often. Because they're great fun. It just makes everything feel like total chaos before the deadline, which is really fun. So yeah, thank you all for joining me. Make sure you tune in to the waiver picks next week. Good luck for your game week, everyone. Remember, if you want more, Patreon's always there. And yeah, that's the deadline. That is the deadline. Like the video on your way out. I am going to go and have some pasta. I think it's chicken pasta for dinner tonight, which I'm quite looking forward to. And then I'll be watching the Chelsea game before I do my night shift tonight, which is quite grim. So, thank you all for joining me. I'm going to end it there, and we will see you next time.